Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to the Triple Bypass Racing Round 9 live from Darlington. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Ewan O'Leary this evening. And we are here for the Canadian Hamster 125 live, and what an epic evening of racing it's going to be here this evening as we are at Darlington Raceway, and unbelievable 2.11 kilometers of racetrack, and one that I am definitely looking out forward to this evening. It's going to be an epic evening as we got 125 laps of this incredible series, and the banking for turn 1 and turn 2 is 25 degrees, turn 3 and turn 4 is 23 degrees, the front stretch with a 3-degree banking, the back stretch with a 2-degree banking, and the race lap record of 26.705 by Richard Petty Motorsports on April 11, 2014 in the NASCAR Cup Series, and that was Eric Amarola who set that epic time there as well. But we are going to bring in Mr. O'Leary into the booth. Good evening, Ewan. How are you, sir?
Good evening, James. Doing well once again. I'm looking forward to some NASCAR here on a Sunday evening. I think people will be a bit confused as to why there's two British people, English people, commentating on NASCAR, but here we are. And looking forward to it as well. I've got to say that it fits in quite well, doesn't it, with the Darlington race in real life happening only a few hours earlier. It's only fitting that we head to this circuit as well. If on the 1 1/3 racetrack, I believe this is a slightly odd length around this one, and it's very unusual as well in how it's laid out. I know this is going to sound odd, but the thing that makes this circuit particularly strange is the fact that turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4 aren't really remotely similar in terms of the way they're laid out. One significantly tighter than the other, and they're roughly banked, roughly the same. But it's going to be a case of running right around the top around here, but also just dealing with the slightly tighter exit you've got out of turn 2, and a slightly more open one that you'll have off turn 4.
Yeah, so here are the current standings. This is round 9 of 12, and it is Marty Rogers out in front with 256 points, 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and 8 starts all in all there. John Campbell in second on 233, John Crutchley in third on 225, Jason Benson in fourth on 218, Daniel Schell on 211, Matthew Perezzini 211 as well. Big shout out to Matthew. He is one of the primary sponsors here this evening. Hence the Canadian Hamster 125 with the Wi-Fi signal, partly because he seems to be running on Hamster internet in Canada, where Matthew is as well. I know that feeling, Matt. I have the same problem. And Zach Roethlisberger in 7th on 200, tied with the last round winner, Carl Griezik from Dover, Ben Harcum on 193, Al Corey 191 in the 10th. And then we've got Keith Hanlon, Joshua Kona, Dustin Barton, Brian Cooper, Mark Herzog, Ryan Hyatt, Derek Catt, Oliver Turan, Justin Bentley, and William Jester. Now, we have got 125 laps here, 5 minutes of qualifying, 1 fast repair as well. Tyres have been labelled as moderate wear, so that's going to be interesting, and they've got 3 sets of tyres with the ones that they're on as well. So don't forget, guys, if you want to get yourself involved, you can head down into the description down below and pick up the Discord link, and you can get yourself involved in the Sunday Next Gen, the Tuesday 87 Legends, the Thursday Gen 4s. So 3 series for you to get yourself involved in as well. I'd like to say a big thank you to all the drivers on that list there who have been a big part in sponsoring this league this season and allowed us to come in and do these broadcasts. It's been absolutely amazing doing this, and one we'd like to thank for all the drivers who have assisted in this as well. So big thank you to them. But going forward, it is Dover. It's a circuit, well, I think that we could sit back and enjoy here. You know, they discussed the fact that there's going to be a lot of wall bangs on the outside if they slide upwards as well. How's that going to play out for some of these guys? Because wall bangs are not always good when it comes to the fact that obviously damage and, you know, one fast repair as well. There's a lot to take on.
There is a lot to take in here. And by the way, I do believe you did just make a slip of the tongue and said Dover. It is Darlington. We're getting quite confused with these English towns that are also American racetracks.
Oh yes, time. Darlington. Sorry.
Yes, we do know what we're talking about, contrary to popular belief. No, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. You do mention the fast repair there, going to be pretty important. But ideally, obviously, you want to stay out of the wall anyway. And interestingly, you mentioned about the tyres as well. 3 tyre changes possible to be made. So you get 4 sets throughout the race, including the ones you start the race on. Over a 125-lap race, that shouldn't be a problem, really, even with the tyre wear that you do experience around a track like Darlington that does really shred them to pieces on occasion. It still shouldn't be a massive problem for you. The only problem it will be is if we get loads of cautions, and then you're going to have to pick and choose when you take tyres and when you opt to stay out. That's when the real problems are going to arise. But even then, I don't see it being a huge problem. Fuel window should be about 80 laps as well, so that's something worth noting. Once we get past lap 45, you might see drivers coming into pit lane at the next caution, and then not coming into pit lane ever again because they'll have the fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, it is as well. So it is sponsored by Matt Pericini. As we said, he lives in a rural area of Canada and often had his internet connection issues. And they do joke that Matt's internet is powered by hamsters. So hence the name, the hamster, Canadian hamster 125. So it is also throwback livery evening as well. So you can see there in the Hot Wheels livery by Richard Petty, as John Crutchley has got currently as well. And there's been a few other, he's not going to tap the wall there. That's never going to go down well. But there has been a few other lovely liveries here this evening. So we will keep an eye out for some of them as well. It's going to be an interesting one. One that I think we can look forward to as well. And if it's anything like the Gen 4, where they literally only had one caution, if I remember correctly, and they did rather well. I'm hoping for the same thing this evening here, and you know, hopefully it's not a caution fest. I think that's my fear with some racetracks like this as well. It can just be caution after caution after caution, and I'm hoping that Darlington here is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it will be good as well in terms of where we're at with the cautions. You're absolutely right. I mean, towards the end of the real-life NASCAR race, and the case where it was earlier on this afternoon as well, it's just a mess at the end of some of these races with the amount of cautions you get, and it's really silly sometimes. Hopefully we can put on a better show here. But it sort of is look at the draw, really. You can either get a really nice race with, you know, clean and green, very entertaining from start to finish, or you can get a real nightmare where you see a lot of cautions throughout the day. It's a bit of a toss of the coin sometimes. Unfortunately, Daniel Schell there not having a fantastic time through the final turn, and he will slide into 5th place for the moment. Qualifying draws to a close at the moment, not a long qualifying session, and then we'll be getting quite swiftly in towards the race.
Yeah, definitely 5 minutes here of quali. Not long left at all. They've got 2 minutes 21 currently on the clock, and one I expect to be some times on the board. Marty Rogers looks like he's done his. Joe Barton, Joshua Kona is doing his now. He is currently sitting down in 14th place, and hopefully should be able to get a time on the board that's around about the 29s, which is what they're roughly looking at currently at the moment, with 1:54 on the clock. Let's see what Joshua Kona does manage to get done here as well, because I think it's going to be an interesting one. We always associate normally road racing with starts, and you've got to be on pole and stuff like that, and that isn't the greatest thing these drivers have got to worry about here. You know, they don't have to be on pole. They can afford to be a little bit further back in the pack and make their way forward. And I think that's the love of NASCAR, I think, where you can just basically anything can happen and anything generally will happen. And I think it just makes it exciting as it comes towards the middle end of the race with the kind of game of chess that these people are almost playing.
Yeah, it is fantastic, and it does feel easier as well than you get on a road course to actually overtake as well. I don't know whether there's any merit to that or not, but it certainly does feel like that. So, yeah, qualifying not quite of the utmost importance, or at least on the same amount of importance as before. By the way, this is also a throwback livery for Joshua Kerner. We're currently seeing out on the circuit, sort of a 2016 sort of era Martin Truex Jr. livery. This is. For the Bass Pro Shops sponsored car. Although I'm not quite sure how comfortable I feel calling this a retro livery when I literally remember this car racing as it was not a retro livery, racing for real back in 2016. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that at all. It makes me a bit uncomfortable if I'm honest with you. But there we are. It's not a bad livery, and it did win the championship. Maybe it was 2017, not 16. But anyway.
Yeah, they kind of was that sort of 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So, yeah,
that's not retro, is it?
No. What are we classing as retro though? Because obviously, you know, I'm on the upper echelons of the wrong side of the 40s, should we say? You know, you're still a spring chicken at heart. So, where is the retro line between the both of us?
Well, exactly. That's everyone's idea is different, and I guess a throwback livery doesn't. Throwback livery could even be to the last part of last year, if you like. I mean, it does say throwback, not retro, so you know, it's within the rules definitely, and it's a nice livery as well. So who can complain?
Exactly. Here is the starting grid. Ryan Hyatt, it will be in first. Matt Perezzini second. And Zach Rufflesberger third. Keith Hanlon fourth. Daniel Schell fifth. Kyle Griesick sixth. Dustin Barton seventh. Jason Benson eighth. Marty Rogers ninth. Al Corey 10th. Brian Cooper 11th. And Joshua Kona down in 12th place. And then beyond that, we've got John Campbell in 13th. John Barton 14th. John Creedler 15th. Too many Johns in that row. Mark Herzog 16th. David Fett 17th. John Crutchley 18th. James Lawson 19th, and Grant Parker is down in 20th place, the final position there as well. There's a lot of Johns here in this row. Joshua Kerner, John Campbell, John Barton and John Creedler. So that's going to be an interesting one as the evening goes on here, you know, because we've had this situation before with Johns, haven't we? Back along in a TCR GR86 event, I believe.
Was it John? Yeah, I think it was John's, wasn't it? There were a lot of Johns in that race. There's a lot of Phils and Pauls on Thursday night when we commentate together as well.
Yes.
So get some new names, people, will you? Well, you can't say much, to be fair, James. Your name's quite common and all. But anyway, yeah, it would help us out greatly. But anyway, we'll figure it out as we go along here over the course of 125 laps. In terms of actual speed here, the speed should allow for an hour-long race, but with the cautions, it will likely run a bit longer than that. It's going to be about negotiating those cautions to the best of your ability and getting through those as best as you can, as opposed to all-out speed, which is often the case. It's a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah, it definitely is there as well. Armour Brusso's in chat, believe it or not. Google X Earth. Who is your Terry in this league, James? Well, Mr. Al Corey in the number 45. So I'm sure Al will do an absolute incredible job. Co-founder of the Triple Bypass Racing League. So it should be an absolutely barnstorming race here for the Canadian Hamster 125 live from Darlington with myself, James Parfitt, and Ewan O'Leary in the booth here, sitting back. I'm just going to sit back and chill and enjoy this one. I think if there's anything, as I say, like some previous races that we've watched from the TP here, it's going to be a good one as they all just sit and get on and do their business. But it is Darlington. It is tricky. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not. The problem is like anything, cautions breed cautions, and I'm hoping it's not that situation here tonight. I'm hoping that they do sort of settle in we are going to be under starters orders very, very soon. Ryan Hyatt will be leading us off here, and once more it's going to be green, 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 and we are away here for 125 laps at Darlington. No stage breaks. It's going to be a straight sprint to the end, and as per it is currently at the moment, Ryan Hyatt out in front, Matt Perezzini, Zach Roethlisberger sits in, Davy Shell behind him, Keith Hanlon, Carl Griesick, last time winner out at Dover here, and it's a nice, easy, clean start so far. You and everybody away cleanly, and not an issue on the board.
Yeah, relatively clean start. It's always hard into turns 1 and 2 on that opening lap, and I saw a few getting loose actually off of turn 2 as well. A few really quite twitchy race cars actually in the background, but everybody getting through cleanly. Hyatt and Perezzini were going side by side for some time, but giving each other the nice amount of room, which is good. Hyatt has taken the lead then, but it's not a big one by any means.
Yeah, Brian Cooper down here with Al Corey battling away as well. David Shell in the front of the group has got Kyle Griesick, or Sexy Wall Trip, depending on what you want to call him, is sitting in 5th place, tucked in nicely as well. They've got that single line racing here. We thought we might have got a little bit of an extra double going on, but John Campbell, it looks like if he stays out of that line, he's going to go back further than he's going forward at the moment, and he's not moving in the right direction. He needs to kind of slot himself in and get onto the back here, which he should be trying to do already. But back up front, Perezzini still away from Hyatt and Roethlisberger, and Hanlon is dropping one second back behind that. And then if you can go down to 11th place with Brian Cooper, he's almost got a second over Joshua Kona already here as well. Early on the doors, but gaps starting to appear quite early on.
Yeah, not unusual to see here as everyone beds themselves into the opening moments of this race. It was actually towards turn 1 that Perezzini actually got through on Hyatt there at the beginning of lap 3 to take that lead away, and Hyatt's been struggling ever since really. He's running fairly low, quite a long way away from the wall as well, which you're not going to see towards the end of the race. They're going to be right up next to that wall, scraping along it as well. I can say they're not scraping the wall around Darlington, they're not trying hard enough. At the moment, there's no real point in trying quite that hard. You can see the drivers having the confidence to go in there anyway, especially through turns 1 and 2, where you really need that high line to work. I have those not willing to do that at the moment, and Roethlisberger will get through. Now there's all sorts of cars catching right here. Careful not to get triple back too much. Oh my goodness, there's a spin onto the front straight.
Yeah, I think he managed to keep it out of the wall though. That was the 55 of Keith Hanlon. He has dropped down the order. No caution out yet either here at Darlington. It'd be very surprising actually with that low, the way the insiders run. It's going to be difficult overall unless there is a major collision coming off that outside wall. I think with cautions, with spins down on the inside, if he can keep it relatively going in the right direction, I don't think the caution flag we're going to see as we normally would see at some tracks like Charlotte and others where the inside is grass and they're going round and round and round and round and round with this long drop down, as you can see there on the apron. It's quite a long way in. They'd have to do something pretty drastic here at Darlington to be able to throw a yellow from spinning on that inside line. I think it would take a bit of a big collision to be able to get a yellow out here currently at the moment. As we can see, normally on most racetracks, that what Hanlon did would have breed a caution on other circuits. But here at Darlington, no need. The apron is wide enough here as well, and it doesn't quite pick up as it is a caution. So he got away with that one. No caution thrown. I bet from his point of view though, Ewan, I bet he wished there was a caution.
Maybe, and it might help him, but he's still on the lead lap at this stage, still in 17th, but most of all, just needs to dial a bit of that looseness out of the car, to be honest. Saw it right from the very start of the race that he was really fighting that car off of turn 4 especially, because it's such an open second corner. You sort of got a wide swinging exit to it. If you've got a loose race car, you can really start to let it slip away from you. And at turn 2 as well, as the corner kind of comes back on you a little bit and it's quite tight on the exit, you can get into trouble in that way as well, as we're about to see from on board with Mark Herzog at the moment. So just seeing the car in front there, corner, just struggling a little bit and getting loose a little bit off of turn 2, but it has been a relatively clean opening 10 laps of this one in this race, thankfully. But a couple of cars already out of the race, according to that graphic on the left-hand side. I'm not even convinced they ever started the race.
No, I don't think James Lawson did, to be fair.
I'm not entirely sure what's happened to them, but either way, it's been clean from those up front, and so far no danger of anybody falling off the lead, that which is the main thing as well. We do have lucky dogs and wave arounds in this series as well, by the way, which will help them if they do indeed go a lap down.
Yeah, definitely will. Still closing up to the back of Joshua Kona. He's going to be looking at taking, if he can, he's going to sit in behind him one more time. Around turn 1, into 2 they go. Kona is not looking comfortable, I've got to add as well. He looks like he's got that car well loose here this evening. Exactly, maybe he's trying to throw it round, but it's, yeah, it could be causing more problems than it needs to be. Whereas Hertzfeld seems a bit more stable.
Have that problem at turn 4, definitely last lap, and not so strong off turn 4 again here. Here comes Herzog on the front stretch, and it's an easy pass in the end. Runner didn't want any piece of it really, so Herzog through into 11th place. There'll be even more drivers looking behind here, looking to take Kona's spot. He's not getting up to speed quite as well as he'd like in the opening moments of this race, unfortunately. But can't really, oh dear, and now he's a little bit tight on the way into turn 3 and has grabbed the wall as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and do something with that car. Depending on the functions and what he's got available to him, it's going to be a difficult one, but I'm sure he will try and work this out as it goes on here. Shell has got Jason Benson right behind him as well. And there is Benson there in the 42 from North Carolina. Here, driving along lap 14, sitting down in 7th place currently. And he's driving that quite high line, isn't he? He's not looking at dropping off onto the inside like some racetracks you would see. They're going to be driving very high here, and Jason's doing a stellar job of keeping it out there.
Yeah, this is the challenge of Darlington. You've got to stay as high up on the racetrack as possible without grabbing that wall. But of course, the higher you go, the faster you'll go as well. So it's a real knife edge you've got to dance on around this circuit, which is what makes it so challenging, but sometimes makes overtaking quite so difficult. And because when you go on the inside, you've just got no speed almost. You get tight and go into the side of the car alongside you as well. So it's really awkward on occasion. But for the moment, we're settling into a green flag run, so that's why there's not too much side by side at the moment, but it doesn't take away anything from the challenge of driving around here. Jason Benson actually entering turn 3 especially really quite high, quite brave, but clearly he's got confidence in that car that it's not going to be tight, because if you do enter really high there and it does wash up a little bit more than you're expecting, then you'll find yourself in the fence quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely on that one, but he looks like he's doing a stellar job keeping it high up there. Jason Benson currently at the moment in 7th place, doing an absolutely stellar job, staying within a touch of the leaders, not drastically far away, 6.5 seconds there as well. Roethlisberger and Perezzini about half a second back from each other at the moment in time, and then you've got the group further back with Mark Herzog at the front, Brian Cooper, Joshua Kona, John Creedler, John Crutchley and David Feet here at the back end of this group. You can see there's literally nearly half a lap between the leaders and 17th place man John Barton, who is there currently, and John is going to have to be careful, otherwise he will be joining the land of the lapped runners early on lap 18. We're expecting, they did give us a rough estimate on tyres, they'd say round about, another wall tap there from Kona, lap 20. Moderate tyre wear, but around about lap 20, the tyres will start, going off and deteriorating. And then lap times are going to come down by about a second. They're already 4 or 5 tenths off for some drivers. Others are about a second and a half off from what their best lap times are currently at the moment. Most notably be David Schell, who's a lap time of a 29.99, and his last one on a 31.63. Seems a bit of a dramatic loss compared to everybody else. It's about half a second back currently at the moment.
We've got to kind of think about this in terms of how many tyre sets they've actually got here in this race. There'll be 3 tyre changes that they can make. They've got 4 for the race. They're obviously using one of the sets right now. So you got that question of, does anybody come in after about lap 30 or lap 32 or so, about quarter of the way through, to try and split this race into quarters and take advantage of the tyre fall off that we're experiencing right now? or will they run out a little bit further than that, go to the halfway mark maybe, and play the fuel game and play the caution game maybe? We'll wait and see, but this battle for the lead is heating up. Zach Roethlisberger really applying that pressure to Perosini now.
Yeah, Perosini's scraping the right-hand side of that Camaro, and he's up on the wall again, and here comes Roethlisberger now, looking up the inside. It's going to be job done for Roethlisberger. He's going to be through here, and it's nice, easy there as well. It's looking like Perosini was struggling a little bit there. Them wall scrapes are not going to be doing the right side of that Camaro any good here whatsoever. So he is going to have to be a little bit more careful. But I think from Roethlisberger and Perosini's point of view, he's now under a pressure from Hyatt as well in third place. So maybe we have hit that 20 mark here, Ewan. Maybe people will start thinking about possibly pitting under green, partly because, as you say, you've got to split it into 4. You really should be 30, 30, 30 and then run from lap 90 to the end. But we're not in the car. I've seen it before in various other leagues and obviously in the BSC that we do, that can all just go out the window because people are fuel saving, absolutely saving fuel like an absolute trooper. And that is... Oh, no. Ryan Hyatt in the wall.
Yeah, good save. He's found himself on the inside wall at where the pit lane is, but he's not spun around and caused a caution. You can definitely see, though, the tyres are falling off, as you say. We are past that lap 20 mark. I've seen a number of... Oh, and now he will have one. Oh, and big smash on the front stretch. Surely that will be a caution.
Yeah, there we go. Caution front. Brian Cooper. Not ideal there for Brian Cooper.
Got smashed by the Hot Wheels car, didn't he?
He comes off the wall, he gets loose, goes straight in. Completely.
He's got broken.
And I think he was already on his way in.
Well, I think he's got broken suspension there. He didn't seem to be in particular control of where that car was going, because you wouldn't voluntarily drive across the racetrack like that.
No, I think he was coming in already. And unfortunately, he was already on his way down. As he's come across, he's come straight back into the middle of the circuit. I'm not sure if the Hot Wheels there, was that John Crutchley, kind of had a clue what he was looking at doing almost. It looked a little bit bizarre that Crutchley, I don't know if Crutchley was losing it on his way in as well. There's the car. He's tried to avoid him, thinking he's going to come across the track. And he didn't come right across the track. And unfortunately for Crutchley, he just kind of torpedoed him. Most of the field, pretty much the top 13 are in. And it's just Barton who's on his way in as well. Kona currently is out in 15th.
Getting the wave around. He already pitted, Kona did. So he's probably getting the wave around at the moment. He must have passed the safety car, I guess, as well, if that's the case. But where is everybody on pit lane now? You'd expect them to be making their way out by now. And the interesting thing here is how many tyres do people actually take on at this stage. There's Kerner getting his lap back, and that should be the case. The interesting thing will be, is it going to be 4 or 2 tyres? I would suggest probably 4 for everybody here in terms of how many tyres they'll take. However, you never know, because there are maximum amount of tyre changes. I don't know what that constitutes, whether that means they have a limited amount of tyres they have to use, or whether it's full sets, or how it's limited in that way.
Yeah, it's limited on the fact that they've got 3 tyre sets. It's 3 tyre sets they can use throughout the race. As you see, he's taking right.
So if they do 2 tyre changes, is that still within the rules, I guess?
Yeah, it's taken 4s on that Cooper car. Yeah, I don't think that you have to use 3 sets. But I've never broadcasted a race where they haven't used their tyre allocation. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised if they don't use all 3, because it seems a little bit more crazy if you actually don't, to be honest, because why wouldn't you on that third run? You've got to go, if you're looking at 90, you're going to be going 30 laps maybe, at least on your old set of tyres. You would change them. Crutchley here in the Hot Wheels changing, so he'll be out again as well. But it does put Al Corey currently in the front of the field, up 9 places.
He can't have taken all 4 tyres on that last stop. If he did come in at all, I don't know whether he did or not, or
no, he hasn't come in.
How we can get that information, but yeah, there's definitely been some games going on here up and down the order in terms that we'll need to keep track of now, as to how many tyres people have taken and who's done what.
Yeah, he definitely. Al Corey has not come in to the pits currently at the moment. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Roethlisberger alongside as well? Is it on the front row possibly? Yeah. So everybody else has been in and taken 4 tyres, which is helpful by the looks of things. But other than that, it's oh no, sorry, Mark Herzog has taken 2. But other than that, it's all pretty much the same. And we'll go back to green flag racing with what should be 14 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, lap 27 of 125 here. On the first caution of the evening. Ryan Cooper on lap 23. Got out of control, hit the wall. And then, unfortunately for John Crutchley, he anticipated something that didn't happen. He could have run that. He could have stayed in hindsight for Crutchley. He could have stayed on that higher line and just gone straight past him. But obviously without the initial aware of what's going to be happening here. It's a bit of a tough one, but here we go. Al Corey is going to be the lead car off. Pace car's in this time around. Here we go, he's already gone. Corey's already bolted over Roethlisberger in second place, and we're back green racing once more here at Darlington for the Canadian Hamster. 125 on lap 28 after the first caution of 20 on lap 23. Mark Herzog is now sitting in 8th place, up 8 places. Is Mark currently at the minute as well. Roethlisberger has cleared Corey, and I'm expecting Corey to start dropping down the order here. He seems to be the only man that hasn't taken a pit stop, and Matt Perezzini is going to also be going past him as well. I don't know if that was a right choice. I've got to be honest here for Corey. I think he should have got in with everybody else. I'm a bit shocked about why he didn't, to be honest.
We can't judge these things too early, I would say. We've only had a lap and a bit of a green flag run so far, so I'm going to reserve judgment just for the moment, because it could turn out to be a very good call. And even though he hasn't held on to the lead of this race, let's not forget that he started this one in 10th place. So if he ends up in this stint, higher than 10th, then it's still been a success. And he's still gained places, even if he's not holding the lead anymore. I don't think he ever really expected to hold the lead for very long there. It's just about holding on to the other places now. He's down in 3rd place, and he's already sort of slowed the rate at which he's being overtaken by keeping those behind him at the moment.
Yeah, definitely has Corey there as well. Benson tucked up right behind that. Shell, Creedler, Rogers, Herzog, Handlin, Crutchley, Hyatt, Grizik, Barton. Fett is in the pits here as well on lap 30. So he comes into the pits, and it's all up and running once more. Lap 31. And Corey sitting in 3rd place at the moment, but he has dropped 1.4 seconds back from Perezzini already. That's an incredible loss to be maintaining, because if Benson here is going to go flying past him, which we're expecting him to do, he could be quite, unfortunately, not in a great position here at the moment.
He's doing all right for the moment, to be honest. If you look back to just before the caution and how many seconds he was away from the leaders, he's a lot closer now. He's in a much better position as well. He was holding up those guys in that fight for 3rd place, and now they're fighting for 4th. Benson recently getting under attack there from Daniel Schell on the inside. It started at 3 and 4, spilled over to 1 and 2 as the caution is out once again.
Okay. Jason Benson.
We were just watching Jason Benson, were we not? In this fight for 3rd place. This surely can't be the incident.
No, this looks a bit of a phantom yellow, to be honest, because there isn't anyone off the side of the circuit or has caused an issue. So
no, I can't see any problems either.
Seems a bit bizarre that it's been thrown, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see the reason, to be honest, for this most recent yellow flag. Yeah, I've got absolutely no idea.
No, it seems very bizarre that there was a yellow thrown on that one. But yeah, I'm a little bit confused on that. A little bit.
Well, it's going to give some people the opportunity to come in. John Crutchley has come in again. You can imagine he's got more damage to repair. Carl Gretsch, Ryan Hyatt and John Barton all in as well. Joshua Kerner, I think, is going to get a lucky dog and a wave around. I think that's him making his way around the outside, isn't it? So he will get back on the lead lap because he is the first car 1 lap down.
Let's see if we can have a chat here with Al Corey in the car. Al, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, it's a little nerve-wracking, white knuckles, as it were.
You not been into the pits, young sir?
Nah, I'm taking care of my tires, saving them for the end in case we get some short runs near the end of the race.
Oh, okay. Bit of a phantom yellow that time around. Nobody really saw who was responsible for that.
I think Cooper and Crutchley were involved in that. I hear it on the radio that there might have been some contact.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair enough then. What's the aim here, Al? What are you planning for? Because obviously everybody went in on that first yellow. You haven't got in yet. When are you looking to run the tyres to lap 40 plus?
Yeah, I'll be looking for another 40 laps on these tires, and then looking for long runs, no yellows, because I'm going for tire savings as opposed to fast laps. So we'll see. It might work out. It might not.
Okay, Al. Well, thank you so much for joining us, bud, and we'll maybe catch up with you later.
Great to hear from you guys.
Take care. Well, there you go. It says John Crutchley here, but I don't think this was actually.
There must have been. He's. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is on the yellow.
Yeah, he's already gone in. I'm not entirely sure.
There must have been something. These cautions don't come out for no reason, so there must have been something. It's just a case of finding it on our end. Oh dear, Cooper already up into the wall a little bit, but he's all right.
The strangest thing, if this was the case that it was Cooper and Crutchley, I have a horrible deja vu feeling from the first caution here.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come out much further on, but nothing seems so bizarre.
Oh, yeah, that's not a nice line for Cooper out into the outside wall. But no, he's all right.
Yeah, he's still going. Not entirely sure what that was for then. I've got no recollection of anybody having an incident at all. I've got the yellow flag thrown, but nothing coming up currently at the moment.
I don't think we're going to find it, to be honest. There we are.
There it is. Brian Cooper in the wall. Oh, it looked like him and Crutchley got hooked together.
Yeah, as Cooper just got loose a little bit there, and once again, a bit deja vu because Crutchley getting involved in someone else's accident through no fault of his own, really, unfortunately. But I've got to say, I like the strategy of Al Curry there. It might not be a bad one to bank on there being some late yellows, and if there are, then he will certainly have the tyres to deal with it based on what's happened so far.
Pace car's in once more. Roethlisberger's out in front. Perezzini, Corey, Benson, Shell, Creedler, Rogers, Hanlon, Herzog, Crutchley, Hyatt, Grizik, of course. Here we go once more. We're going to be across the line. Roethlisberger's gone, and we are back racing green here at Darlington Speedway. And it's Roethlisberger out in front with Corey in second, with Perezzini in third at the moment in time here as well. Now the surface here is Darlington. It has been said that it's quite abrasive on tyres. Do we think Crutchley can go, Corey can go another 40 laps? That seems a bit of a reach.
He certainly can. I mean, what pace he's going to be at in those 40 laps is another issue, but he certainly can manage it because we know that on fuel you can go 80 laps around here at Darlington. That's really what's going to stop you from actually going any further. In terms of what speed he'll be going at is another story, but I think it's a good idea from Corey, to be honest, to try this. just trying to preserve as many tyre sets as possible for the remainder of the race. It's just a real conundrum as to when you start using those tyre sets as well, because if you leave it too late, then you're actually going to end up not using all of them at all, and as you said earlier, might not be the best idea in hindsight, but he realises the risk he's taking and he's prepared for the downsides of that as well as the upsides.
Yeah, he definitely is here as well. And we're on board with Benson now. As you can see, Corey out on the right. Oh! Benson nearly puts him in the wall, and now he's got John Creedler coming through on our right-hand side. There goes Creedler.
It's a case example of just how tight it gets on the exit of 2 there. It gets really, really narrow, and we saw side by side between Shell and Corey there. In the end, both of them thought this was a bit too sketchy, and Shell goes through. But yeah, it's not looking good for Benson at the moment. The time we've been on board with him, 2 cars rip round the outside. That's Rogers, points leader, just going round the outside, and even grabbed the wall a little bit through 1 and again at 2. And now Benson will head back to the inside for P6.
Yeah. Rogers there tapped the wall a couple of times going on the outside line. They did say they want to run it high up as they possibly can. How brave are they going to be? Well, that's going to be the question here this evening. It's going to be a brave man to run it within inches, I can tell you that much. But, it's going to be a tough one for these drivers here as well, because it's 30 to 31 second laps, and whenever you're doing something like this, it's always mental as well as physical. You are going to be taking that time. You are going to be sweating. You are going to be concentrating, physically drained and stuff like that. And I think that's where people just mistake what is technically of NASCAR, because you're not looking, you're not going left and right like they do on road circuits. You are primarily going left, but it's always going to be tough. Keeping that mindset of just one simple mistake for Marty Rogers there, and it was already sparking off the outside wall. So I don't think he's going to be the only one doing that as they try and ride that line as close as possible, as well. And Hanlon doing a stellar job over Rogers there as well.
That was Keith Hanlon, down the inside, doing the slide job as well, Marty Rogers, which is very impressive indeed. That's up to 6th place for Hanlon now. John Creedler has got through on Al Curry there, so the cork in the bottle goes down to 5th place and will pull to the inside there in the 45, right round the outside for Keith Hanlon, who needs no second invitation. Here goes Marty Rogers as well, right round the outside. Now that Curry's found himself stuck up on the inside, he is going to be overtaken by quite a few drivers, but once again, this is part of the strategy. He's got to keep his head down here and not worry about this particularly.
Yeah, I'm fearful. Unless Corey's pulled off an absolute masterstroke, I am fearful that this could go completely in the wrong direction than what he's aiming for. I get the purpose of it, but I'm also struggling to understand the means to the end. I know they say that obviously, he's trying to run it long. He's going to be looking at going for another 45 laps or 40 laps or so, but that's tough, isn't it? Lap 70 on a set of tyres round a tough track like Darlington, and I just can't see it physically working for him. But as I say, we're not in the car. Obviously, Al will know what is going on within that car as well. He knows what his game plan and his strategy is, and he's at the moment dropping down the order here in 8th place. But it is going to be a tough one for Corey to maintain the fact that he is going to be wanting to go so long. Roethlisberger's got Perezzini tucked up right behind him here. No more than a 10th back currently at the moment. And they're already coming on to the back of Kyle Grzyk down in 14th place. Your last time winner out at Dover here as well. He hasn't got a massive lead. He's got probably a length for the straight away from the leaders. And in Roethlisberger and Perezzini, he seems to be another man that can't quite get to grips with Darlington at the moment.
It's been very much the story of the race so far. The top 2 battling away, quite considerably removed from the rest of the field, although Shell has been gaining a little bit in the recent past. So has Creedler as well, but for the most part it has been about Roethlisberger and Perezzini as well. A bit of a higher line through 4 there for Perezzini, should give him the faster run down the front stretch, but nothing doing into 1 and 2. they'll stay behind one another. Once again, though, by the way, I'm still not counting out Curry in this one. I like his alternate strategy, so I'm not counting him out at all. But these two are just running hell for leather at the moment. Pericini with a nice run off of 2, and here he goes into 3 and 4 for the lead.
Yeah, takes the inside line there, drifts down and then back out again. He's going to be running the high line exit out of 4. Gets as close, tucked in as he possibly can here. And Zach Reflesberger loses that place to Pericini. And there is Pericini here. We'll just give you a better idea of how close we actually are to the wall. And it's going to be one that I think only a few people will be brave enough to try here, because I'm not entirely sure I'd want to be running as close as what these guys have been going to be trying to get near. Now, I was watching a film the other week about a lady that was driving an IndyCar, and they were trying to say to her, like, you need to get as close to the wall as possible. So they welded on a metal bar to the front right, and basically she had to scrape the metal bar as close to the wall as they physically can to get used to running the high line. It was actually a really good movie, to be fair, on Netflix, but they put a bar on the side of the car, on the side of the Indy car, and she had to run it as close to the line as she possibly could.
Based off real life events?
Yes, it actually was.
I've never seen that before.
I'll have to try.
Oh dear, this could be a caution. It will be. I think it's Gretsch on the back straight. Is it? I'm not entirely sure.
It is. You are correct, young sir.
Spun himself off of 2, I think, here in the Pennzoil car. At least I think it's a Pennzoil. Oh no, not quite. But there it is, the 27. Just losing it, unfortunately, and that'll be the 3rd caution of the day. Surely Corey is going to be in now. It's nearly half the race is gone. I think some of those who came in under the 1st caution are going to be tempted to come in again.
I think they probably would. They could take the next set of tyres round about lap 80, and then that would give them the 30 run in, of course. But as we know, with Corey's strategy here as well, he's still out on track currently at the moment. So you would have thought he would have been in. Surely you would have thought he would have been in, wouldn't he?
I think so, and he's taking a very tight line now around 3 and 4, so he'll be in. Roethlisberger's in, so is Shell, Ryan Hyatt as well, John Crutchley, Mark Herzog, but some of the others staying out, the likes of Pericini, Cradler, Handlin, Rogers and Benson, all staying out on the racetrack.
Mixture up here as well of who's going to do what and on what line. Pericini still out. I suppose the thing is, would you take that chance? You know, surely you've got to try and mix it up a little bit, right?
It's so difficult to know because, as Corey really mentioned to us, it matters so much about when the cautions fall and also how many there are going to be. I mean, who's to say that this is the last caution of the race? In which case, those that pit now will be able to make it to the end of the race without pitting again, whereas the top 5, will all have to come in. So, you know, who's to say that won't happen? I mean, that seems unlikely, but you never know. So it's a somewhat of a lottery sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the situation here again. I think if Crutchley can go, I'd be very surprised if he can go for the next 72 laps. I was sceptical about the fact of that, with Corey's strategy, if he could go 71 laps, I'd be very surprised if that is the situation.
It's, very interesting, I've got to say. This is my main problem in real life with NASCAR at the moment, is the stage breaks really eliminates this kind of strategical play that used to happen with tyres and who's taking them and who wasn't and whatever, but we have it here and it's fantastic. Marty Rogers has changed his mind actually, and he's decided to come in a lap later than everyone else, so he does now take advantage of the new tyres, but has also put himself almost at the very tail end of the line.
Down in 12th place at the moment, Marty Rogers. Everybody's on 2 pit stops, apart from Ryan Hyatt, who is registering as having 4 current pit stops. The front 4, Benson, Handlin, Creedler and Perezzini, are all on 1 at the moment. So, going to be an interesting one here. I'm really interested to see how this plans out for Corey and whether or not he's going to be able to go to the end now. He'll be fine for fuel. That's the good thing. He doesn't have to pit for fuel, but tyre wear that long? Brave man to try, I suppose. But as I've seen before with the BSC the other day, where Josh Malcolm was clutching in so much, he crossed the line in first place with 0.1 of a litre left of fuel. He didn't even have enough to do victory donuts in the playoff final.
What circuit was that at? Homestead, I guess.
Homestead, Miami, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not easy to save fuel around there either, so fair enough, I suppose. But Bill's lining up 2 by 2 again. This is off 1 and 2, and we've still got 14 cars on the lead lap, 15 still running. Carl Gret's going to have to get himself back on the lead lap at some point, and he will do with another caution. But front 2 rows with those on older tyres. Alcori is still on older tyres as well, having not... Oh no, sorry, he has made his stop, excuse me. But he's only made 1, hasn't he? So, yeah, it's front 2 rows on old tyres now, with the rest of them behind, all on new ones.
Yeah, once more, here we go. Safety car is in. Perezzini will effectively become the safety car. He's going to control the line. When is he going to go? That's going to be the question. We've seen a couple bolt really early. Looks like Perezzini is underway. We're back green here now once more at Darlington, and instantly it's trying to get in to that single line racing that we've seen all the way around here so far. Corey's... ooh, nope, don't want to be doing that. Tucked up behind David Shell there, who just disappeared for a minute, and we are back single line racing once more. 1 line round Darlington, trying to get it as high as you possibly can, near as possibly can you can to the wall, and try and make sure that you don't grab the wall. We have seen a few times here this evening already. So it's back underway again after the 3rd caution, and not long to go now until, I think, to be honest, if they can run to the end from here, it's going to be an interesting one. They've got to go 68 laps, mind you, but are we realistically saying it's doable on these 1 set of tyres? Because I can't see it.
It is doable. Once again, it's about the pace that they'll be running with, which will be very, very slow. But that doesn't really matter, because those who they'll be competing against will be having to make a pit stop, which they won't, and that will kind of be the answer to it all, and that will be the defining factor there. But I think there's a long way between now and then. Here's Zach Roethlisberger making his way through the order. He's already got through on Jason Benson immediately as they went back to green. Now he's down the inside of Keith Hanlon into 3 and 4, and he's got that move done as well. Bit of a snap in the middle of 3 and 4 as Ryan Hyatt is trying to follow him through at the moment, challenging Benson for 5th place.
Yeah, I've got this funny feeling when we're talking about Corey's trying to save tyres. I've got this feeling that Perezzini and Roethlisberger are just kind of going flat out and trying to get it as far up the field before the end of the race as they're trying to here. They don't seem to be doing much conservativeness that Corey said he was doing, you know, and we could effectively say others are in the field as well. It just looks like Roethlisberger and Perezzini are just going straight back out here, going full bore at it and running until what time the tyres either die and they've got to come in. But is that the way to go? It's such a difficult scenario overall here when you're running at Darlington and what you're going to really plan to do, because effectively it should be, as we've been told, that is lap 20 tyres will drop off, lap 30, lap 40 you've got to be looking at changing them. General rule is obviously the abrasive surface here at Darlington will sometimes eat tyres, but I suppose on the other hand it's a different scenario when if they are tyre saving like Corey is as well, trying to get it as long as possible. So it brings into that different dimension of racing that we've got going on here currently at the moment. You see Perezzini out in front, flying along with Creedler behind him was Roethlisberger tucked up already. It hasn't taken Roethlisberger long here, Zach, to try and get onto the back of Creedler. Oh,
Oh dear, that was Hanlon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in the background there, and now we'll have Hyatt right behind him, and even up on the high side as well, which could be a problem for him. Not quite, doesn't look like it. But it's almost pointless us wondering aloud about these strategies and which one's the right one at this stage in the race, because it's so early on and we're so far from knowing the name of the race winner at the moment, or even knowing the logic behind the best strategy and the winning strategy here this evening, that it's almost pointless us wondering about it, to be honest. We'll just sit back and enjoy the racing here at this point. It seems like a better idea, and right now it is very exciting. Down from 4th place on back from Hanlon in that 4th spot, right back through Hyatt, Benson, Shell, Corey, Herzog, Crutchley, Rogers. They're all in the background there, one long line as Roethlisberger's got up to 2nd place up the road, by the way.
Yeah, he's just gone past Creedler as well, and now setting after Perezzini is Roethlisberger. Shell here with Benson right beside him as well. Corey tucked up behind that. Herzog and Crutchley here at the back end of this train. It's going to be interesting to see if they are able to hang on once more. We're going to start seeing gaps appearing. But at the moment, Perezzini, he has got a 1.62 second gap over Roethlisberger on a 30.86 for Roethlisberger last time, 30.49 for Perezzini. And, you know, this could be Perezzini's race if he can keep up this pace. So it'd be an interesting one here on lap 65 on what they're going to do, lining up once more up on that high line as well. It's so close. They've got to be brave going in here and trying to maintain that line as well. I think most people, to be honest with you, would be expecting at least a little love tap on the outside wall at some point throughout this.
Yeah, you'll probably see everybody get one, as Benson very nearly does. I don't know if he actually did through 3 and 4 there. Really close for Hanlon as well, as he's got Shell down his inside in towards 1 and 2 now. Starting to turn up the aggression as they cross the halfway mark in this race. We get into the second half. We're winding down on the laps now, and all of a sudden the racing just gets a little bit more intense. We're still, of course, waiting for more pit stops from Hanlon and Benson. They're now on 40-lap-old tyres that are beginning to struggle a little bit, although they're holding on pretty well. Shell gets down his inside now, though.
Yeah, it does. Job done for Shell over Hanlon. Corey's still in there, still in the fight. Sitting in 8th place currently at the moment. 1 pit stop there for him, 1 for Perezzini at the front, 2 for Roethlisberger, 1 for Creedler as well. And Creedler now has got Hyatt tucked up right behind him as well. So they're running that high line. They won't often drop off down onto the inside unless they're sliding that way, or if they've made a mistake, or if they're trying to go up the inside here, which Corey has done on Benson. And next on Corey's list is Hanlon as well. So good move there from Corey. Slips down and takes Benson and then comes back up into that line again, which we've seen him take so often here as well. Where are we in terms of mindset here, Ewan? What are we thinking about currently in the car? Are we just thinking about trying to stay on with the people in front of us? Are we trying to think about not, obviously not hitting the wall, but where are we at? Because me personally, by this point, I'm thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow and what shopping I've got to get in Tesco's, which generally would end up me going into the wall at that point.
Yeah, these drivers are staying more focused than we do, certainly. As we go off on wild tangents sometimes in commentary, as you might be able to notice, it's much more focused from the drivers. They'll be pretty relaxed really at this stage. They know that they're just doing the best they can. They're not shredding the tyres to pieces. They're not bashing people out the way at this stage. The intensity not quite at its highest just yet in this race, but they know that they've got to do the best they can and get through these cars as best they can as well. I do believe there has been just a change for the lead, by the way, as Perezzini has finally relinquished that lead now on lap 70. It's Roethlisberger now to the front with those new tyres on, but the disadvantage Roethlisberger has got is he's already made 2 pit stops in this race. He's only got 1 more set of tyres to use in this one, and still more than 50 laps remaining.
Yeah. Perezzini, yeah. 4 attempts back currently at the moment as well. Cracking welcome to the YouTube chat. Do you know, I've read that message a couple of times there, and it says, James, making sure to remind us of Geordie's greatness. It still stings. We're making sure to up the strategy possibilities the next season. It should be good. Yes, Jordan Malcolm with his epic fuel saving in Homestead there as well. I'm sorry, but it was a great job he did. And you know, he tried it. The interesting thing with that as well, he was trying to be spun round by the cars behind him to make him at least try and do a donut. He had that less fuel, he couldn't even do a donut. But hey, gotta be letting you know what an effort that was there as well. And Shell and Hyatt tucked up here as well. Crutchley with Benson, Herzog and Hanlon. Crutchley in the Hot Wheels at number 48. And Herzog and Benson has just gone in front here as well. So Benson on the 42. I've got a funny feeling that is Grzyk in the middle, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Carl Grzyk there. Currently lap down compared to everybody else. Mixing it up in the thing. It's quite an interesting one when we talk about being a lap down here as well, because it's a different strategy to what road we would expect being under a blue flag, you know, move to facilitate the move however you're going to want to work it. Doesn't really matter that much in NASCAR. There don't seem to be a thing of blue flags, make sure you're out of the way. It's more of a, if you can hang on to the pack and you've got that opportunity to unlap yourself, you generally have the right to stay where you are.
You absolutely do have a right to stay where you are. The F1's very much the outlier in that, and it's probably not a good thing for them either, but that's another discussion for later on, or another day, I should say. Yeah, he'll be in the lucky dog position at the moment, Grzyk, but he will be worried about somebody falling off the lead lap a bit further up. The guys like Barton at the moment, who are, you know, more than half a lap behind the overall race leaders, and when obviously if he goes a lap down there, then Grzyk all of a sudden doesn't become the first driver one lap down anymore, and so wouldn't get the lucky dog anymore either. Would have to hope for a wave around, which is fairly unlikely to happen actually in the race situation that you've got at the moment. So he is going to even be a little bit worried about that, but he's showing good pace here. Got through on Hanlon there, so if he was running on the lead lap, he would be running inside the top 10 most likely.
Yeah, definitely is here as well. John Barton in 14th place. Yeah, nearly probably the length, a little bit more of the straight away from where the leaders are, but it is here with Marty Rogers and Keith Hanlon. Hanlon is down 5 from where he was currently started. He started in 4th place and is now sitting down in 9th. Creedler was one of the biggest gainers here though. You're up 10 places currently at the moment. And but then, you know, we get excited by that, but then it could all possibly end up going wrong exactly, couldn't it?
Could, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it if we have to. For now, it's been a nice green flag run actually. We're just over 20 laps complete within it right now, just under 50 laps remaining, and any caution now, surely almost everybody would be into the pit lane. We do know that anyone who came in under the last one can go to the end. That's a huge slide though from Hyatt, was it?
No, Benson.
It wasn't. Benson, yeah, it was. Herzog goes through. Rogers very close behind there as well. There's Crutchley going through. It was actually Grzyk, wasn't it, actually, who went through there in the yellow car. So yeah, Benson's going to get overtaken now by Hanlon down the inside. These two both suffering on very old tyres now, about 50 laps old.
Yeah, lap 24, both of these gentlemen pitted here as well. And it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them both, as Keith Hanlon slots in behind Marty Rogers. Rogers pitted on lap 53. Yeah, Hanlon on 24. Corey's still going here on lap 52 as well. And David Feet and John Crutchley. Feet pitted on lap 29. A little bit out of sync with everybody else. Crutchley on 52. So Crutchley is on the younger tyres in retrospect of what everybody else is. As I say, he joined in with that third caution after Grzyk took a spin, of course, and now seems to be sitting well here. David Feet, and the thing is, even though they pitted so early on, like Hanlon, it's kind of hanging on here as well. You know, Creedler is another man that pitted on lap 24, and he seems to be hanging on quite well in 5th place. He's starting to drop off a little bit. Yeah, he's lost places as it's gone on. He's just lost Benson and Marty Rogers, but he's kind of hanging on a little bit better than most people are on these old tyres.
It all depends on just how you're doing with them and how badly, of course, worn the tyres are and all of these different kind of things. It depends on a lot, but Parasini's doing a good job, especially at the front of the field at the moment. Still second, and you can see the time sort of levelling off a little bit. Those that pitted about 30 laps later than that first caution now are only really a tenth a lap quicker maybe than those who didn't pit earlier on. Last lap for Parasini was a 31.0. Rosberg did a 30.9. The gap's really not that big, and the difference between the two tyre compounds now starting to level off really. Everybody just really suffering. I think if a caution came out, almost everybody would be in.
Yeah, I think that's... Oh, is he going to come across? Oh!
Wow.
Wow.
And a big slide from Benson as well, just in front of points leader Rogers here.
Was that Barton? No, it wasn't Barton. Is it Dustin Barton? No. I'm trying to think who that was who just ended up nearly sliding out there. It wasn't Corey either. Can't find out who that was. They were in the...
Hanlon's certainly struggling at the moment. He's losing a couple of places.
Yeah, Hanlon's down to 10th now. So it's just...
Although we say that.
And he's just gone up the inside. Yeah. Got back out the inside.
Oh! Does the slide job and very nearly gets into contact with a couple of the cars just behind. So nice four-car battle, actually.
Yeah, Benson's going to be mixed in the middle, though. And feet behind in 12th. And this is what he's currently seeing. David Feet here. Still trying to stay as close as you can see. Benson bouncing almost off the wall. Down the back straight into turn one. He's got the line though. You know, we were talking about Darlington is going to be a low up line. And he is. Benson's definitely running as close as he physically can get. He's in, and then he's up again, and now he's just going to run the outside high line all the way round as close as he can possibly get it without actually grabbing it at the moment as well. So stellar job there from Benson. John Creedler is now with Herzog tucked up, and Herzog is good about going through. It seems to be now we're starting seeing the early pitters like Parasini, who's literally just chustained the wall here as well. And they've got to be coming in soon, haven't they? The early ones, 24. They're going down the order. Parasini's dropping, Creedler's dropping, Hanlon's dropping, Benson's starting to go as well. I don't think it's going to be long.
I think they're going to desperately avoid pitting under green because they know that it's going to hurt them so much, and they know the guys that came in under the last caution will not have to pit under green again at all in this race. So they're going to really hold out hope that they don't have to. But Parasini is now certainly struggling. A 31.4 basically from him on the last lap. What's it going to be this time around? It's a 31.2. He is struggling out there again, so they're taking a turn for the worse now. Al Curry and also Mark Herzog right behind. Creedler even slower, by the way, than Parasini on that last lap. We've still got Hanlon and Benson both soldiering on as well, but it's not pretty for any of them.
Definitely isn't for these early pitters here. Benson there, tucked up behind Crutchley. Benson on lap 24. Has gone back. Hanlon on lap 24 has gone back. Creedler's on his way back, and if Parasini's not careful, he's going to be on his way back as well. I know they want to avoid it, but there's a difference between avoiding it and trying to aim for a caution that might not come. It's like me going to put on a lottery ticket. You know, there's a 1 in 14 million, if not more, chance that I'm going to win. But we do it anyway. But surely he's got to be looking at taking a chance, hasn't he? He can't. Whoa.
That's Herzog, I think.
Yeah.
Just in the background there, in the yellow. But yeah, Parasini all of a sudden has found a second wind here, and his last lap was at 31.5, a terrible lap from Ryan Hyatt for some reason, 32.9. He didn't pit that long ago. Oh, and a big slide from Hyatt as well, as Corey got through on him.
And Creedler's gone as well. Hyatt sliding off there. And an absolute stellar job he managed to save it, I suppose, for Hayat. That's probably one of the positives that's come out of that, and there ain't many, but there is one that he managed to hold on to that. So, you know, I suppose on the high side, for some of these people early pitters, they could have probably relied on that caution, but wasn't to be here as we go under lap 90, over the lap 90 mark now, lap 91 of the Canadian Hamster 125 with Matt Perezzini as the sponsor here as well. Zach Roethlisberger is out in front, and he's out in front by about 6 seconds currently, 6.5 over Perezzini. Don't forget Perezzini pitted on 24. Creedler also was another one on lap 24, and then you go further down with Hanlon and Benson also on lap 24. So they've been going a long time on them tyres.
They have, but they'll still have another 10 laps that they can do in terms of fuel here, so they might well run it out, just hoping that they can get a caution and get lucky in this one. But by that point, we'll see everybody in, and then it's going to be a dash to the flag with everybody pretty much on the same stuff, really, so that will be interesting. Alcori, I think, was expecting a few more cautions in the second half of this race rather than the first half, and so his strategy maybe didn't plan out quite the way he was expecting, but he's still in good stead, really, with 2 sets of potential tyres to go on to here in the final laps if he wants to.
I think he might, I don't know, because everything we've kind of mentioned it's kind of gone out the window, the abrasive surface of Darlington eating tyres, and yet we've got people on lap 24 and they're still out there in second place. So it's kind of good, what we were expecting in strategy wise is kind of gone out the window. We thought it might be breaking it up here lap 30, 60, 90, but it isn't working out like that. And
that only goes if it runs green all the way, to be fair. If they know that it's going to be green the whole way, then they'd definitely do that. But the likelihood is you never know if it's going to be green all the way here in NASCAR. And so you've just got to play it by ear, really. I know that in road racing and road course racing, we're very formulaic sometimes in the way that we do strategy. We like to divide things up, and we like round numbers and all of this kind of thing, and even stick. But that's not the case in oval racing. You have to play it by ear in the cautions. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to be, very flexible with your strategy. And so there's no point coming in after lap 30 or whatever it would have been, because not under a green flag anyway, to split the race up, because you'll just find yourself miles off the back. And sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's the way it runs, unfortunately. But that's the kind of the exciting side of NASCAR, is you never quite know how it's going to be, you know, and it's an interesting one here as well. It's something that I've just, hold on a minute. David Feet here, what have you been up to, young sir? Have you just pulled off? No, he's stopped out.
Looks like he has, yeah.
Stopped out on track, no yellow thrown, and there's a car in the middle of the circuit.
Well, that's Harrison doesn't care about stopped cars, to be fair. Oh, there we go.
There is now.
There is a caution. Well, this does change everything. This does save the guys who didn't come in under that previous caution, like Perezzini or whatever. Now it's going to be a dash to the flag between everyone.
Yeah, they're all going to be in, and this is the reason why. Oh, Grizik out of control. Oh,
he was the one looking for the lucky dog, wasn't he, Grizik? There. And if you do cause the caution, by the way, you don't get the lucky dog. So in the end, he will still be off the lead lap, as far as I'm aware.
Yep. He is down in 14th place there as well. And it looked like it wasn't Perezzini he was tied up with. I'm trying to think who's.
I'm not sure who
Is that the 75? Yeah, Ryan Hyatt.
Yeah, could quite possibly be. Well, everyone's in pit lane now, by the way, so this is the interesting moment of the race. We've got 13 cars on the lead lap. Everybody should be in here because the tyres were just woeful by the end of that stint there. Really, really struggling. Here's the view onto pit lane. Everybody should be taking 4. It would be a huge gamble for anybody to take only 2 here in this stint, but we'll wait and find out anyway. Stranger things have happened after all. Into the box comes Roethlisberger as well as Perezzini just up in front. They'll lift up the left side, and then the right. That's Ryan Hyatt who goes through them as well, in towards the last box in pit lane, which often is such a help. Down goes Roethlisberger. He will be out first by quite some distance.
Yeah, Perezini's coming out not long far behind him as well. Corey's trying to shift out as well. Goes into where Mark Herzog is. And it is going to be Corey on that one. Herzog sitting down in fourth. Shell's out, Hanlon's out. I'm expecting Rogers to be coming out as well. There he is. Benson, Crutchley is on his way out. Kona as well is just in the box. And Barton behind him. But it is Roethlisberger with Perezini. Now this is where we're going to get the whole excitement experience here, because they're going to bunch everybody up. We're going to have literally the full field, brand new tyres, straight run to the end there. Kona in YouTube chat, I hate this track, he said. Kona down in 12th place currently. There you are, sir. 25 laps to go, Josh. That's it. That's all you got to deal with, mate. 25 laps, straight run to green.
He had a long stop there, didn't he, of just over half a minute, just to repair a bit of damage. Clearly he's been scraping the wall somewhere around Darlington. But yeah, shame to see for him. But not too far. Just at the front of the queue there is Carl Gretsch, who's looking to get the wave around here. So while he won't be able to get the lucky dog because he did cause the caution, I do believe you can still get a wave around, which doesn't often happen. And so this, but it might well do on this occasion, because all of the lead lap cars have wanted to come into the pit lane there on that occasion and change tyres because of the way the green flag run was previously. It means that Gretsch can take the risk here, stay out. So we'll be at the very back of the train on the lead lap. He'll be on old tyres, so he'll be going nowhere. But if there's a fifth and final caution before the end of this one, then he will be able to come in again and get some tyres and then challenge in the latter portion of the race. But still needs a lot of things to go his way this afternoon.
It definitely does there as well. As we're on to the last 25 to go. There we go. 25 to go. Well, this is where it's going to get exciting. This is where it's all going to happen. And I got a funny feeling it could be a straight sprint from Roethlisberger and Perezini. Who will get this one? Who's your bet on?
Well, it really is a coin toss between them, isn't it? They've been the strongest, in my opinion. They've been quite considerably the strongest two so far in this race, Roethlisberger and Perezini. But since his name is plastered on this race as its entirety, I'm going to pick Perezini from the outside.
Oh, I don't know, you know. I just cannot see past Roethlisberger. He's been looking so quick all the way through. I can't see past him. I can't see past Zach Roethlisberger at the moment. But we're going to find out now as we go into the last 25 here. Side by side as high as we can go. Roethlisberger's going to come around. And here we go, back green flag once more here at Darlington for the final 24 laps. And it is Roethlisberger with Perezini in second place. Herzog behind, Corey behind that as well. And Corey in fourth. Herzog up 13 places here on the last 24, Ewan. And I can't see him. I can't see Perezini getting past him.
Well, there's a long way to go here. It's not a short run by any means, so there will be time here. Great pass from Al Corey, by the way, in that battle for third place, which is really heating up. Herzog got it off of the restart there, but he was a little bit more attentive. But Corey was very speedy on the backstretch, got down the inside, fired it into turn 3, and he's back through again.
Yeah, he's got a few more bangs behind. And David Shell had contact with Shell, who did that big slide earlier on, actually, come to think of it, in the UPS livery. But it is Corey Herzog Hyatt battling away for the final podium position with Roethlisberger out in front by about 4 tenths over Perezini. 22 to go here at Darlington. There's a second gap opened up already back to John Barton and Carl Grzyk and Joshua Kona. As I say, Josh has been in YouTube chat, doesn't like the circuit whatsoever. I can fully understand that, to be fair. It doesn't look like it's a comfortable one here as well. Hyatt on the inside, looking underneath of Currently, Herzog, is he going to be able to run that lower line? He wants to be up if he can, but he's not going to be able to do it this time around as well. He's got to be looking. Oh, is he going to run him in again? Not this time. Settle back in there, sir. Go once more, and he has done. Drops back out onto that high line again.
Intensity has just ramped up just that little bit more in the last few moments, and you can see them pushing in the background through turn 2. Roethlisberger and Perosini have got that little bit more of a gap between the two of them at the moment. There's that bit of breathing space in there, but about for third, absolutely on here. Corey, oh my word, that's Hanlon, who goes to the inside. He goes around. And did he go all the way? I think he's just about saved it. Will stay green.
Yeah, just saved it there as well. Hanlon done an absolute stellar job of saving it, mind you. I'm sure there's people out there who wish he hadn't. But he has done, and a stellar job from him. Hyatt is now in 4th. Herzog has lost that position. I'm expecting him to get it back on that inside line if he can. But then again, it hasn't really been working as the evening's gone on. A few slides now. Is this where they're all pushing now, Ewan? And now it's just all getting a little bit loose. And Hyatt goes through on Corey and takes that 3rd and final podium spot here for Ryan Hyatt. Roethlisberger now 6 tenths out in front. It's going to be a flat race to the end, I think, from them two, but it is also here in this middle pack. Corey, Herzog, Creedler and Rogers all battling away for the 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th spot here this evening. But Roethlisberger 6 tenths out in front, 18 to go.
Yeah, it's still a gap between 1 and 2. The excitement really back here for 3rd place. Hyatt has now gotten away in that 3rd place, really. Corey still hanging on, and maybe the strategy he's employed has put him into a place where his pace maybe wouldn't have got him otherwise, but it's been good strategy from him overall today. Started in 10th place. He's up 6 on the day so far. Looking to hang on at the moment, but you can just see the amount that people want these places now. The way they're pushing it closer to the wall than ever before. The way that they're pushing one another closer than they have ever before in this race as well. The intensity really ramping up now because we are in the final 20 laps.
Yeah, 17 to go. We're here on board with Herzog looking at the back end of Corey in front in the Camaro. Trying to stay as close to him as possible. They're trying to run the same line. You can see Herzog tucking in. He's now come out a little bit. Is he going to be? No, not this time as well. That very down on that line that they are taking. Here we go, one more. 16 now on the clock. Oh, it looks like Herzog might have a run if he's going to be brave enough. I don't think he's going to be brave enough this time round, and I think he's going to settle back and just kind of stay where he is for a minute.
We'll see. There's not that much time left in the race for sort of sitting around and waiting for these kind of things to happen. So we'll see here, but it's a really topsy-turvy battle. I thought was going to be absolutely away with it and would take 3rd place pretty comfortably, but that's clearly not the case. And now it's back to everybody in the top 10 is fighting for 3rd right now, apart from the front 2.
Perosini's still 6 tenths back from Roethlisberger. 14 to go on the clock. It's going to be tight with these front 2, I think. I think this is going to be a very tight run here. Don't know if Perosini's going to be able to get close enough. I think Roethlisberger's just got that little bit extra. He's able to seem to find a little bit more pace around turn 4 and be able to come off that wall and absolutely slingshot himself down. Back out nearly 7 tenths now as well. He's opening up little by little. 29.97, 30.05 for Perosini. Another nearly a tenth gone there. It's going to be a tough one. I think it is going to be a tough order for Perosini.
I think so. The odds are certainly sacking against him now. Roethlisberger has been strong all day long and showing that none more so than right now. He's not even having to run that high up the track either. He's not taking too many risks towards the wall, especially in 3 and 4. Through 1 and 2, he does get a little bit closer, but as you can see. But even so, they've got it in hand at the moment. This is where the excitement is. Al Curry's still hanging on to a top 3 right now.
Yeah, how he's hanging on. Well, he will only know that one. That's what I'm bored with. Ryan Hyatt was in the middle of this pack. Hyatt's got Rogers, Shell and Benson behind, with Crutchley just hanging on as well. And we've got Corey, Herzog and Kriegler. Corey's just lost that position to Herzog now. Is Hyatt going to be trying to make this move? He's got to be thinking about it. He's only got 11 to go. Needs to start positioning himself into a different way here. He's got to be... Oh!
Corey on the high line there was really close to the wall, but really effective as well. And now Hyatt might have put himself in a vulnerable position. He slots in front of Shell, Rogers, does he? Not quite.
No.
Now Rogers is on the outside of him here.
No, he does now, though. He does now. You see Rogers in the rear view. Gaps out front nearly just over 8 tenths.
Hyatt looking underneath there into turn 2. He is quick, but just made that mistake from third place. He's put himself right back in the almost washing machine of a battle, which is this.
He's going to run in hot. Oh!
He's still looking there, very close to the rear quarter of Kreidler there. And it's side by side between Rogers and Shell in the rear view, actually, and Benson's there as well.
Yeah, they've started to open up a gap. Shell here, about 8, just over 7 tenths back from the Hyatt, Kriegler, Hertz and Corey battle. So these guys are going to be battling away for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th with Crutchley at the back end here. Now Perezzini is nearly a second back from Roethlisberger, 8 to go here. Can Corey hang on with 8 laps here? Well, it's going to be a tall order, surely, with these guys wrapped up right behind him.
Well, you say that, but he's done it so far, and that's, he's done more than half of the job so far in terms of the green flag running laps that were remaining when we did go back green. Compared to now, he has done more than half the job. However, I get what you're saying. It is still a tall order with the likes of Herzog, Kreidler, and also Hyatt right behind. It is relatively difficult to pass, though, so you never know. He might hold on.
Oh, as we say that, Hyatt's just about to go underneath Kriegler. Through he goes. In the 75 there as well. 5, he's now setting under Herzog. 6 to go. Herzog's now literally tucked up behind Corey, going round into turn 1. Is he going to be able to get this run? Is Hyatt going to be able to come through? Hyatt's been looking quick.
Whoa.
Oh.
Very speedy through the middle part of 1 and 2 there, Herzog, but just had nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, you can see Hyatt just coming into the picture now as well.
Passed in all the wrong places, Herzog, at the moment. Needs a bit of speed just off of one of these corners or on the way in, but through the middle is where he's quick, and that's really not helpful.
It's quite a bizarre place to be quick in the middle. You're normally entry, exit. You're very rarely in the middle of the corner where all of a sudden you turn into speedy. But Hyatt is also another man that is looking quite speedy here with 4 to go. Here we go now. Is Hyatt going to be able to get Herzog?
I think if he does, then Al Curry will be able to hang on to 3rd place, because this side-by-side battle is not going to be resolved without problems. But he's actually maybe found a bit of speed here at the end, Curry, because it's not even looking so nervy there anyway. Everybody's starting to get a little bit loose off of turn 2 especially.
Yeah, for the final 4. Herzog tucked up right behind Corey now, and this is going to be it. It's got to be, if he's going to be making a move, he's got to be making a move soon. He has not got long at all. Ready to go. Oh, Corey's run up a little bit too high on the entry. Here comes Herzog through. He is going to be through now.
Corey did most of the hard work, didn't he? But that was a mistake, really, that allowed Herzog through. And he's going to have a very difficult job in his hands to get that position back.
2 to go. 2 to go. Is he going to be able to do it? I don't know if he's going to have enough here. I really can't.
I don't think he will.
No.
Hart's got a good run as well. Hart's got a very good run off of 2, and he'll be down the inside at 3 now. They're about to cross onto the final lap, these guys, side by side. This should allow Herzog to run away with 3rd. Al-Khoury right round the outside. This is going to go almost to the line. Here's Kreidler as well.
Now settling into a battle. We will pick up Roethlisberger very, very shortly. As he comes round now, he's going to complete this under the checkered flag. Zach Roethlisberger, absolutely stellar job. Takes the checkered flag here at Darlington. And a win for him. Perezzini in 2nd place. Did Herzog hang on? He has. Here comes Corey though. And it is going to be Herzog, Corey, Hyatt and Kreidler. Marty Rogers behind that as well. Stellar job there. And here comes the Barton Hanlon Grizik Kona battle. Oh! Grizik crossing the line in style.
Well, I guess you can call that style in some form, but there are the 14 finishers. And
how is this not style? Look at that.
Well, that's quite stylish. I think he did lose a place though.
He's not worried about that. He's not worried about it.
And he bashed the wall twice. So I'll just take some marks off for that. But on my scorecard there. But no, a good race in the end. So I feel a little bit bad for saying this, but real life NASCAR could take a few notes from that race, to be honest, because not every race has to end in a 2-lap bash to the end with a million crashes in it. It could be a nice green flag run to the end with good racing, as we just saw there.
Yeah, difficult scenario, and it depending on where we're at, I suppose. But here are the final results. Zach Roethlisberger was your winner. Matt Perezzini in 2nd place. Mark Herzog 3rd. Al-Khoury 4th. Hung on from Ryan Hyatt, but did lose the place to Herzog late on. John Kreidler in 6th. Daniel Schell 7th. Jason Benson 8th. Marty Rogers 9th. John Crutchley in 10th. John Barton in 11th. Keith Hanlon down there in 12th. Josh Kona in 13th. Well, I'm not surprised. He did say he didn't like the track, so fair play, Josh. You've made it to the end. Carl Grizik there as well in 14th place. Beat Cooper, Barton and Campbell out of the race there as well. And then behind that, Lawson and Parker. But I don't think they actually even took to the grid. So an absolutely stellar job from the drivers here as well. Difficult racetrack, difficult scenario. These guys managed to sort of, I wouldn't say tame Darlington, because that's not really the word for it. You know, we were 4 cautions in as well, but overall they did an absolutely blinding job.
Yeah, they did a very good job, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable watch in the end. Darlington producing some very good racing, and as I mentioned, really enjoyed that run to the green to the checkered flag at the end as well, with a long green flag run and lots of interesting battling. So thoroughly enjoyed my first race watching this series, to be honest, and commentating on it as well. And hopefully the rest of the season goes smoothly as well. In terms of the championship, by the way, Marty Rogers will indeed extend his championship lead just a little bit more. Finished 1 place ahead of John Crutchley, who was here. Don't think John Campbell was here today, but John Crutchley finished in 1 position behind. So the gap now between the two, I believe, will extend to 32 points with only 3 rounds remaining. That is quite considerable, and Rogers should be able to hang on to that in the remaining weeks.
Yeah, definitely here as well. Don't forget, guys, we will be back for the season finale of the Triple Bypass Racing League from Charlotte Motor Speedway on June 5th. Here, so we will be back in June the 5th for the final of this series, where we'll have a more, hopefully, a better idea of what is going on within the standings. As we say, Marty Rogers should extend it. Ewan, that's what we're expecting?
I think so. The only question mark for me is whether the likes of Roethlisberger will close in, because he probably has done by quite a few points there. But he started the day 56 points back, so at very most, I think he will only be 40 back at this stage. When you consider that you get 40 points for a race win here, at a 35 per second, and then it's 1 point on from from there on in. It's basically 1 point a position outside of the winning place there, so it's quite difficult to gain points on Marty Rogers or gain considerable points on Rogers. So that's why I think he'll be okay with a 30-point margin and 3 rounds remaining. Probably a top 10 for the remainder of the races, and he'll probably win the championship.
Oh, there we go, guys, as well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an eventful evening as well. I'm just happy I made it on the lead lap here, to be honest. Car was loose and then tight the whole race for me, so it was a little hard for me to control from Josh there as well. I wonder if we're going to have a chat with Matt Perezzini. I'll drop him in there so he knows he's on his way as well. And Matt, welcome into the booth. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Good there as well. Okay, so tough race overall. In hindsight, Matt, do you think you got saved by the fourth and final caution?
Oh, absolutely, I did. I didn't have enough fuel. I was short on fuel. I was only about maybe 9 laps from having to pit under green. So, if I don't get that caution, I would have been in a lot more world of hurt.
Oh, yeah, definitely as well. Pitting under green would have been in a terrible scenario. But I've got to ask you one question. Did you think you could hold on to Zach? Because Zach was looking speedy here today.
Yeah, well, he's always speedy at every racetrack. I was just happy that I was holding on to him there that last run. He's got a lot more experience than I do in these things. He's does it a lot more than I do. So to be able to run with him and keep up with him was good. And I was even able to pass him under green once. So to me, it's basically like I won, and I feel pretty good about that. So,
well, second place isn't bad going forward as well. What's the aspirations in the championship scenario for you itself in this league itself here this evening?
Well, for me, I'm probably going to end up. There's a good chance I may be missing next week, so I'll be out of the championship in Cup for sure. But currently, we're the points leader in the Gen 4 series that runs on Thursdays that you guys have broadcasted a couple times for us. So right now, we're focusing a lot of our attention and effort and practicing towards those Gen 4 cars to close out that championship for the 24 car, our Apex Designs machine.
Yeah, hopefully, mate, it should go well for you as well. But well done here today, bud. You take away second place. Got to be happy about that.
Oh, I'm extremely happy. Darlington is actually my favorite racetrack. I love racing here. Really love racing the next gen car here. I had a blast, and to be able to run up front all night, that was mission accomplished. Wish I could have got the win, but I will be happy and take a second out of it.
Yeah, definitely as well. Well done, Matt, as well. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, buddy?
Yeah, just again, thanks to my wife Leanne and daughter Johanna for letting Dad come out and race with the boys on Sunday nights. Really appreciate it. And Sean from Apex Designs is my designer of my paints. Tonight I didn't run one of his paints. I ran a trading paints throwback, the same throwback that won the actual Darlington race today. So I was hoping that was going to bring me a little bit of good luck, and I think it did. So, but we'll be back next week with our regular paint scheme at Kansas, and maybe we'll see if we can get the W there.
Absolutely. Well done, Matt, and we look forward to catching you. We are back on the last race of the season at Charlotte, so we will hopefully have a chat with you then.
I sure hope so. Charlotte's my second favorite track, so we're looking to get a good finish there too.
Absolutely. Blinding job from you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good one.
Yes, you as well.
Right, there we go. Let's see if we can have a chat with Mr. John Crutchley here. Up 8 places overall, finished in 10th place here this evening as well. John, welcome in. How are you, sir? Nope. Okay, well, I'm guessing John is not here as well. So let's bring Mr. O'Leary back into the booth. Okay, sum it up for us then, Ewan, as we go now, coming towards the end of the broadcast. Wasn't a bad one at all here from Darlington.
No, it wasn't a bad one at all. We've thoroughly enjoyed that race. Actually, I've got to be honest. From watching these races in real life at Darlington, sometimes I don't enjoy it often because of the kind of high line you have to run and the single groove you've got out there. But I really enjoyed this race here this evening. It was there was a lot of racing, a lot of jeopardy, I guess, as well in terms of how loose these cars were getting off of turns 2 and 4 especially. And it was quite scary at times. A few cautions, but it wasn't a caution fest, and they certainly added into the action as well in terms of the strategy. There's good strategy games going on throughout the day, so yeah, there wasn't a lot not to enjoy about the 125 laps tonight.
Absolutely there as well. Well, thank you guys for joining us this evening. And we will be back, as I say, for the final round at Charlotte here in the Cup Series on June the 5th. So hopefully we'll see you there in that one as well. But don't forget, guys, as well, we've still got more racing coming up here on the JBB YouTube channel. We have got the F3s on Monday night. You can catch up with the F3s on Monday. Sunday drive racing at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning if you're an early riser, with the UK sim racers at 8 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday as well. But I think that brings us to the end of the broadcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. From myself and Mr. Ewan O'Leary, as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.